Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. You good? The smoke got you guys?
Question. Kristen, on the right.
After taking 24 hours to celebrate the win and take a look at the film, what kind of stood out, pros, cons from game one?
I thought our guys came out and played, like I said the other night, played with great energy. We made the plays that needed to be made. There was some mistakes in the game that we can correct. Starting with the penalties, there are some penalties that we can coach better and get our guys to not do some of the things that we did in that game. And then I think all the problems that we did have, they're all coachable. We can tackle better, which we did in the second half, but we can tackle better and also continue to make more plays.
Andrew, on the left.
You had said last week, asking me after that first game, what do I know about my team now? Maybe it's piggybacking off that a little bit, but did you find out anything about your team after kickoff when you said the spotlight's on them?
Yeah. They're ready to play. They're ready to play. Our guys know how to play, and I think we got a chance. We got to stay healthy and continue to go one game at a time and can continue to get better each and every day. And if we continue to do that, like I said, I think we have a chance with our football team. But I was really impressed with our guys. They were prepared and they played like they were prepared.
Center, Matt.
What do you tell an offensive team that scores 77 points that they have to improve on?
They got to score at least 78. No, those guys just continue to execute, and whatever points we get out of it, and if it's enough to win a ball game, we'll take it. But continue to execute on the things. Again, we made some plays, but there's some missed assignments and some technique things that we can do better, and we have to do better with a better opponent coming ahead. But in the first game, those usually some of the things that you get, some of the missed assignment and technique and things, you get that in the first game. But they all, like I say, all correctable, and we have to correct them going against a better opponent.
What's your strategy for dividing running back reps during a game? Is it just who's hot, certain packages? How do you kind of decide that?
Royce is our guy. Feed Royce. And then everybody else will get their carries as we go. But we're going to feed our horse, and we're fortunate to have three really good running backs that can can come in and start. And I think the beauty for us is that we don't have to change our offense because one guy's in the game. We can continue to run the plays that we want to run, and again, we're gonna feed Royce, and if Royce get tired, we'll put the next guy in and go. But there's no set rules or anything. That's one thing about our offense, and I'm really impressed with our guys. We don't have any selfish guys that it's always got to be about them. And in our offense, everybody gets to eat. Everybody get a little bit of the ball and have fun, and I think that's the beauty. Everybody get a chance to block too, even the quarterback at times. But I don't want Justin blocking.
Ryan, you still have one? Yeah. Ryan in the front.
Willie, I was just curious, when you were growing up, is Tommy Frazier someone you looked up to and tried to emulate it at Manatee?
I wanted to win like he did. That's about it, But again, I was Tommy's backup in high school, and didn't necessarily try to emulate my game behind Tommy. I just played how I know how to play and do what I can, and I never really been that guy. Just do what I can do, and felt like I was plenty good enough to do my job. But Tommy was a guy that he was a winner, and football was important to him, and you learn that. I learned that as a young sophomore playing behind him, just how important it was to him. And competition, if there's anything that helped me, was just learning just how competitive he was, and then how he didn't want anybody to beat him. He didn't want anybody to take his job. He didn't want any of that, and that's the way you have to be. And I think that's why he was a great player. He took pride in every single day.
Have you kept in touch?
Not really. I see Tommy every blue moon, whether it's at a coaching, the AFCA convention, but not really. Tommy lives in Nebraska, and I was in Florida and Kentucky, and then I'm in Oregon, so it's just kind of hard to cross paths.
On the left, Tyson.
In your experience, have you found that it's easier to get guys to focus in for the next week after a tough win where there's a lot of apparent things to work on, or just one of the many other times you've scored 77 points in a game?
No, I just think it depends on your team's personality, and each year your team's personality is different, and this team is trying to bring its own personality, and we constantly talk about every week it's got to be the way we play, and we really stress that to our guys. It can't be about our opponents. It can't ever be about our opponents. It's got to be about us, and every time we take the field, we got to go out and see how good we can be, and try to be the very best we can be. And it don't matter what happened the game before. Usually, when we play that game, we move on because there's nothing we can do about that game in the past. But each and every week's gonna be different, and we just try to be better than what we were the week before. Did I answer your question? All right.
Hi, Coach.
Hi.
Hi. You faced Nebraska your first game as head coach of
Western Kentucky. You brought that up.
Technically Aaron.
Gosh.
But yeah.
Right.
Does that come into your head at all coming in this week against Nebraska?
I thought about it, that had a chance. I mean, as a head coach, we played there, and I actually saw a picture of me and my son, Willie Jr., and he was so small then, and now he's taller than I am. But that's about it. It was, again, it's my first game as a head coach. It was in Nebraska and Lincoln, and great environment, but that's about it. It just now it's about this year's Nebraska team, and they got a new coach and new players, and then they come to Oxford, and we don't go to Lincoln. So that's about it.
All right, Preston.
Coach Mike Riley was a big figure here in the state of Oregon for college football for a long time. I know you were in the Pac-12 for a little bit not long ago. What do you know about Coach Riley? What's your relationship like with him? And his return to Autzen is going to be something that a lot of people are going to be following this week.
I know Coach Riley is a good football coach, well respected, and across the country, whether it's college or pros. I know he had a chance to coach Harbaugh when he was in San Diego. Coach Riley was his coach, and then again, being in the Pac-12 and playing Oregon State, they had a good team back then, and he's won a lot of ball games. His team's going to be well coached. They're going to be physical, and it's going to be a battle, and yeah, he's coming back to the state of Oregon. He's been here, I think, about 16 years or something like that, or whatever, 14, 16 years as a coach. So I think that's big. But he was a coach in Corvallis, not in Eugene.
It's early in the week, but do you have any kind of updates on the availability of guys like Lana, Khalil, or Juwan who kind of got dinged up in the game?
They were beat up yesterday, but I think they'll be back this week. We heal differently around here. They'll be ready to go.
Kristen, on the right.
This is kind of in the same vein as Preston's question with Mike Riley, but when you were at Stanford and he was head coach over at Oregon State, what did you see out of his team? How would you kind of define his coaching style and what you saw out of his teams, and do you feel like you're seeing the same thing at Nebraska now?
Again, they were physical. They were pro style. They were very similar to what we were at Stanford, other than we had a lot of different shift and motion and things that we did there, but they were a physical football team, wanted to run the ball and did a good job off of play action on offense and defense. They were talented, very talented. We always played a tough game. When I was at Stanford, we played at Oregon State. It was always tough playing those guys. Now I know they have a different defensive coordinator now, so that part was different, but they were always well coached. And they was always ready to play.
Willie, have you heard from any of your special friends, former players like the Harbaughs after Saturday's game? And if so, what were some of those conversations?
Text message, and it was great first win. Way to start the season off. That's pretty much it.
Who was that?
Coach Harbaugh, Jack Harbaugh. And Jim and I text each other, great game, congrats. And I got one from John Harbaugh saying congrats, way to start the season. Got one from Tom Crean saying congrats, way to start the season. Got a lot of those.
Back to Nebraska. Arkansas State gave them a run for their money on Saturday. Did anything jump out from that game, their opener?
Yeah, that Nebraska is big. They're strong, and they won the ball game. And Arkansas State they played well. They played Nebraska tough, but just from watching it, I didn't necessarily think that Arkansas State took control of the game. I always thought that Nebraska was in control of the game throughout the game, but Arkansas State played them really tough and did some good things to help them be successful in that ball game. So, but Nebraska won.
Different year, different teams, obviously. But have you guys found any value in watching the game film from last year's Nebraska tape? And if so, is that kind of a tough one for the guys to watch because of how winnable that game ended up being?
We haven't watched that with our players. We watched it earlier back in the spring. We watched that game, but things are different. Their offense is different. Their defense is different. We watched it, kind of look at the personnel, look at our guys and play, but not necessarily anything to help us with this upcoming season. Just so much different for both teams.
What kind of improvements do you expect your team to make from game 1 to game 2? What's typical?
We just want to get better, in every aspect that we can get better. We want to get better at it, and usually you make the most improvement. I would like to see us cut down on our penalties for sure, and make sure we take care of the football, cut down on the turnovers. That's so critical, and again, we're not good enough as a football team yet to have all those penalties or turn the ball over and think we're just going to go out and beat a quality opponent. So we got to make sure we cut down on those and execute a little better.
Coach, with the overall performance in Game 1, do you see the rebuilding process being at all ahead of schedule?
I can't necessarily say that. I don't know really what that schedule looks like, other than just trying to go out and play one game at a time and try to be 1-0 every week. So our guys accomplished that the first week, and we have an unbelievable challenge this week, and we're really looking forward to our guys having a great week of practice, prepare like they prepared last week, and then come out and execute and perform like they did. That's important, again, that we come out and play the way we know we can and how we can, and doing it against a quality opponent in Nebraska would be big.
With on the sideline on game days, would it be fair to kind of look at the guys who are dressed and the guys who weren't in pads as like travel squad, or is there some different distinction about why some guys are in uniform or not?
Well, there's travel squad for that week. You can say that basically, but don't sidelines are so tight, so we don't dress everybody, and usually it's the travel team that dresses.
When you can dress an unlimited amount of people on home games, is that, like you said, just space, or is that something like a reward for guys who kind of earned it throughout the week?
I think it's a little bit of both. Cause we have practices where certain guys get to dress. If they have a great week of practice and the coach vote those guys, then they get to dress out or get to travel with the team on away games. So give those guys some incentive to work hard and continue to get better as a football player. But also space. Our locker room down the stadium is not big at all. We're packed in there like sardines the other day. And so we want to make sure we keep our guys that's playing fresh, and they can have some room. The coaches have room to coach and get things worked out. So it's a little bit of both.
All right, Jerry.
Hey, Coach, how encouraging was Taylor Alley's performance? Especially since, a backup hasn't really been established in some ways in the past few years. So how would you grade his performance?
I thought Taylor came in and did some good things for us, and he did what we expected for him to do. Taylor's a mature kid, loves playing the game, loves playing with his teammates, and he's a kid that always prepares himself. So what he did on Saturday, we expected it, and can he be better? Yeah, he did some good things, and he did some things he wish he could take back too. But but overall, he did a great job. And again, we want him to continue to get better and always be ready because you never know.
Right here, Ryan, in the center.
I know it's a work in progress, but how did Coach Levitt feel about the defense after the first game?
He was encouraged, as same as myself. Was encouraged with our guys. The way they flew around. There's some things we can get corrected. Like I said, we can tackle better. Don't get the PIs. Those PIs they were killers. Some of them was on third down, so extended drive and it gave them more opportunity to have more plays, and the more plays they have, of course, they're gonna get more yardage. But you take away the long touchdown pass where again we lost contain, let the quarterback out, and didn't judge the ball right trying to pick it off, and they got a touchdown. You take that away, and you take away turning the ball over on that side of the field, giving them a short field. Our guys played well. That first drive wasn't necessarily what we wanted to be, but our guys adjusted and like I say, played better after that. And again, it's tough. It's tough to keep people out of the end zone, and it's tough to hold people nowadays to a low amount of yardage. Those things happen, but you got to do a great job of keeping them out of the end zone and try to do a great job taking the ball away, give it back to your offense. So, but overall, he was encouraged and happy with the progress our guys are making, and so as myself. And again, we need for them to continue to get better.
The off-season rule changed by the NCAA to give guys a day off, more time away. How does that change? I know it's Mondays for the players. How does that change the way you structure your prep for the week, or does it at all?
It doesn't. I mean, we always give our guys Mondays off anyway, so it hadn't changed anything for us at all.
The smoke is pretty bad here in the Eugene area right now. It's not supposed to get any better until midweek. Are you guys planning on practicing inside, or what kind of precautions do you take with the air quality being unhealthy / hazardous?
We're always gonna look what's best for our players. They safeties come first, but we're keep in touch with our medical staff, and they're monitoring how it's gonna be, and hopefully we can get out and practice tomorrow. If not, maybe we'll go inside if it's good to go inside. We're going to practice.
Warren in the middle.
Willie Arion gave us an introduction into the Urban Dictionary, swag surfing on Saturday. Do you encourage the kids to enjoy themselves that much on the sideline? And was that something that you encouraged them to do? And how do you feel about swag surfing?
Yeah, it's something I encourage. I believe in it, and I think, again, you guys heard me say it before, but enthusiasm is contagious, and you just watch the sideline, you can see some of the people in the stands, and you hear all the people talking about it. You can tell how contagious it is, and but I want our guys to have fun. It's tough as it is, but I want them to enjoy it, have fun, be respectable to all of our opponents, but we want to enjoy this while we're out here. It's tough as it is. I mean, this game is too tough not to enjoy it, and so when you get a chance to enjoy it. And again, it's just part of the culture that we want to build here. We want to have fun, and have a lot of energy. I just believe so much in positive energy and enthusiasm, and the more we can have that by everyone in Oxon, the better it's going to be. But we definitely got to have it on our sidelines for all of our players and coaches and everyone.
Tyson.
What do you think about swag surfing?
It was awesome.
That's pretty cool. We got to get it right. We wouldn't.
Did you do it?
We wouldn't right yet. It's still in the process, but we'll get there. We'll get there.
I don't know if you got to watch the UCLA game last night, but have you ever been a part of a game like that had just such a change of momentum, emotions, kind of like that one?
Yeah, I have. And I ended up on the other side of that too. But yeah, it's tough when you're up. Not that bad, but I wouldn't end up that much. But we're up and let a team come back and beat us in overtime. But that's college football. I mean, it's college football. Anything can happen. again, I think it's a great learning lesson for all players and coaches out there that you got to play the entire 60 minutes and not give in, and both sides you got to play, but that's one heck of a ball game, and I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see another one of those this year. That's just college football and kind of how things happen.
When you see something like that, does your stomach almost like turn for the other coaching staff? Like just
No, not really. I just like, wow, kind of like everybody else. Wow, it's just wow, can't believe that just happened. But anything can happen in college football. I mean, it's one of the greatest sports in the world, and again, so much change, and anybody can be beaten every week, and anybody can come back, anybody can lose a game. You just never know.
Kind of following up on that, every time an SEC team loses, the clips circulates from one of your former players, Andrew Jackson, where he says they're supposed to be SEC. Can you tell us about that when you found out about that, and how it was like? How did he take that, becoming a little celebrity on the internet?
Well, if you knew Andrew Jackson, nothing would surprise you. So when I saw that after the game, that's Andrew, but he'll say it, but he'll back it up, and I think that's what he was saying. He was playing out there, making a lot of plays himself, and that's kind of what he was saying. The SEC is a good conference, and at the time we were at WKU and we were playing Kentucky, and we were playing them pretty tight, and I know defensively we were playing them really well at the time when he said it, so I think he just wanted a little respect, and we lost, so it didn't matter. They were the SEC. They beat us once again, But I think the following year we got them, finally.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you all. Have a great smoky day if you want to.